Welcome back to Red Star Raceway as we head into the first race of the SuperGP Champions Trophy, and our Premier Class is on track. That is SuperGP. See a couple of riders coming out of the pit lane, just getting a couple of quick practice starts in as they make their way around the Red Star Raceway for the first time here in action today. Red Star Raceway, basically a purpose-built motorcycle circuit just outside of Johannesburg in the Delmas region in Mpumalanga. And we've already seen some fantastic action here this weekend as we are looking forward to more of the same now with our SuperGP class. The 1000cc's are on track. We've got a nice big field here, and we're waiting to find out who Robert Portman has caught up with down on the grid. He'll be coming to us pretty shortly. There's a bit of a heads up as to what's happening with a couple of changes and maybe a little bit of modifications being done here and there to ensure that these riders can get to the front end and be in the hunt for the front end of round 4 of the SuperGP Champions Trophy. Big welcome to everybody worldwide. Hopefully you guys are enjoying all the coverage here from the live streaming courtesy of EFX Productions, putting in a massive effort here to bring us all the action via SuperGP Champions Trophy Facebook page, the supergp.co.za website, or you can go on to Digital Entertainment On Demand, diode.tv. That is our main sponsor, and they have got their Try Me option open today, so you can watch all the action from the diode.tv webpage as well. Riders on track and just getting themselves all warmed up. More importantly is getting the tires warmed up. Tire pressures and heat in the rubber is crucial here today. We are sitting currently on 9 degrees Celsius outside. It's a little bit warmer than what we had earlier on this morning. But yeah, about 9 degrees warmer. But more importantly is that there's a little bit more heat in the tarmac. So it's now time to do some final adjustments on those tire pressures on the grid. And speaking of on the grid, I think down on the grid, Robert Portman is looking to catch up with a couple of riders. As you can see, coming to take up their positions on the grid. A couple of Red Star specialists are certainly going to be in the mix. There's Rob just waiting, I think, to catch up, looks like with Clint as he's making his way there now. I'll wait till he gets there and give Rob a chance to have a quick chat to him. Sella not quite getting the lap times that he wanted in the qualifying, but if you look at the qualifying lap times that we had yesterday, almost all of the 9 riders are very, very close and potentially going to be in with a hunt. Rob's down there with Clint. Let's have a quick chat to him.
Thanks, Greg. Yes, the man to beat here today is certainly Clint Seller. Clint, track conditions look ideal, although it's a little bit cold, but the long race here at Red Star, it's never easy.
I'm not so sure about a little bit cold. It feels unbelievably cold right now, but yeah, it's a long race. It's kind of our standard now these days, a 15-lapper. So you certainly got to be aware of a few factors, but bike feels good. I think we're ready to go out and have a bit of fun.
So what is the game plan here? Attack from the word go, or just get some heat in the tires, make sure everything's okay, and then maybe with 5-6 laps to go, just put the hammer down?
Rob, you've seen me race a few times, so I'm sure you can guess which one's my strategy, but yeah, we'll go out and just do what we do and enjoy riding motorbikes.
So if I know Clint Seller, and I do, he's just going to go from the word go. We're going to move across here now to one of his championship contenders. It's Greg Geldenhuys on the Kawasaki. And Greg's had a great weekend so far, setting some really fast lap times. Greg, track conditions out there and your bike all looking good. Do you think you can challenge for the win?
Yeah, the bike's set up pretty good. You know, we just got to maintain the thing and hopefully look after our tires. And yeah, we'll see in the later stages of the race if we can hang with them.
So dicing, no doubt, with the likes of Clint Seller and Greg Geldenhuys will be the pole position man. First time on pole position is Carrick Flock, and just behind him, look at the talent that we got here. AJ Fenter, we got Darren Upton looking to make a good season out of so far what has been a terrible start to the season. Michael White, second in the championship last year, also not the start to the season that he would have wanted. So we're about to go starting here. We don't want to keep the riders too long. They're just getting the final preparations done here now down on the grid, and we're about to go live racing with SuperGP race number 1 here at Red Star Raceway.
Thanks, Rob. Great to have you down on the grid to catch up with those riders. Maybe go and have a quick chat to 1 or 2 if you can. But it looks like we're not, as Rob said, not going to be holding them there too long because it is very, very cold down there on the grid. And I think we're going to be standing by. Ladies and gents, we're going to ask you if you are at the circuit to be upstanding, and if you are worldwide to just resume the position for our national anthem here in South Africa.
Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, we're in South Africa. We're in Mpumalanga, and it is just outside of Delmas, about 60 odd Ks outside of Johannesburg. And looking forward to race 1 now of the SuperGP Champions Trophy. SuperGP's on the grid and ready to go now for our first race of the day for them. But we've just seen a 600 race that was probably one of the best we've had here at Red Star. And I know that people out there are going, yo, Greg, you say that every single time, but I do. Every single time we go racing in the DO SuperGP Champions Trophy, the racing just gets better, more world class, and particularly when you've got young guns like this man on pole position. This is a big upset for the entire field, and definitely something that they did not expect from riders out there. But Garrick Flock certainly knows what to do around Red Star Raceway, and with the improvements coming out of his machine, certainly can be a front runner and potential race winner here today on the Shop 74 and Diamond Core Drilling Yamaha R1. You'll see a big star if they just pan to the left-hand side of that bridge, and it's in honor of number 74, Anthony Shelley, his teammate in the Shop 74 team, who unfortunately was lost tragically a year ago. And you would have seen that the Brolly Babe there was Anthony Shelley's sister, Sandra Shelley, doing the Brolly Babe duty for Garrick Flock. So that's how things are going to line up here. You can see it's going to be pretty exciting stuff, I think, between our top contenders here at the Red Star Raceway. There you go. 100%. Thank you so much, EFX. Exactly what I was talking about. In loving memory of Anthony Shelley, lost sadly and very much missed here in the Super GP field. Son, racer, and friend, and of course, big brother as well to Sandra Shelley, who also does a great job in national championship contending. Final warm-up lap here for our riders as they head down towards turn number 1. That is customarily known as another tyre manufacturer chicane, but today we will just be mentioning the fact that Pirelli are on board with Super GP as they head down into turn 1 and 2. It's a big right-hand flick and then flick over onto the left-hand side and then head in the N12 highway. And on a 1000cc, close to 280 kilometers an hour before you climb on the brakes. Bang it down the gearbox where Greg Kildenase is right now and pitch it left to head towards the dog bone section. Looks like a little bit of excitement on the grid there, Rob.
Yep.
A couple of the usual contenders not in the front, though. That is a massive turnaround for this round particularly. If you look, I was just been speaking about Garrick Flock on pole, but no Lance Isaacs at the front end, no Michael White at the front end. So a little bit of changes up there. And remember, Michael White, one of his sponsors, Ridgeway Race Bar, tomorrow. Yeah. You get some fun and games at Barcelona if you want to head to the Ridgeway Race Bar in the Vale.
Yeah, that's the place to go watch MotoGP live. I'll be there selling the Brad Binder stuff and Darren Binder stuff as well. So always a great atmosphere at Ridgeway Race Bar. But we are at Red Star Raceway now for the first race of the Super GP Champions Trophy, proudly sponsored by Deode and the associate sponsors, and it's going to be epic. Down on the grid, I could feel the vibe, some tension down there. Clint Seller, although not on pole position, I think outright pace, he's the man to beat. Lance Isaac struggles with a BMW here. The biggest disadvantage for the BMW, Greg, is that at Red Star, you're on the sidewall of the tire for so long, and the BMW just does not like being on the side of that tire. It likes to be upright and using the horsepower that it's got, hence why it did so well at Kailami. The turns are very in and out. At Red Star, especially the dog bone section, you are on the side of that tire for so long, and Lance has been battling with the grip of the rear tire, and a lot of the riders battling with cold tear on the rear tire. So again, not only is it all about the riders, it's about have the team and the mechanics got everything right, have you set your tire pressures right, is your suspension set up for the long 15-lap race, or is it for a short sprint race? So there's so many factors to throw in here, and that's why Clinsella at the moment still the favorite. Greg Goldenay showed incredible pace. When I got the times yesterday, leading the free practice 3 session on a 51.2 or something. So Greg Goldenay on that new Kawasaki, he's got to terms with that new bike. Noddy has done an incredible job at giving him a machine which is already won on the season. So those Kawasaki's are coming thick and fast. Then we got AJ Fenter, Dave McFadden, Michael White. The list goes on and on.
The field is there, exactly. You've got Snowflake as well, and Snowflake in absolute perfect conditions for him. Dylan Barnard, second of the consortium shipping Yamahas.
Temba Kamalo,
exactly, down into the 54s, and he reckons he's got a 53 in him, and he can catch Dave McFadden and pass him.
Great to have Ricky Marias here.
So nice to see him here. The Rickster's in the house, and newly, of course, going to be a grandfather. Cape Tonian based now, moves away from the big storm and comes to watch the storm here at Red Star Raceway.
Yeah,
we're under starters orders, ladies and gents.
Here we go.
That's your front row. Green flag at the back. 5-second board as the man walks across. Keep an eye on the lights as they go out. We go racing. And who's going to have what it takes to get the whole shot? Great start from Flock. He has got away at the front end, and I think he might hang on. But look at AJ Fenter. Fenter around the outside for the whole shot. What are you thinking? What are you smoking, Alan John Fenter? Fenter, whole shots into turn 1. He's got the whole shot and hangs onto it. Flock's on his tail. The rest of the field streaming out. Side-by-side action there from Dylan Barnard and Lance Isaacs. Coming through the middle is Brandon Good. Another great start from him. It's Upton who's up in the 4th place. Side-by-side with Michael White. Magic Michael White is up in the 4th. Ahead of Greg Gildenays. Where is Sella?
Yep.
Sella is behind Gildenays. Morne Gildenays, that is.
Yeah, he's behind the 2 Gildenays at the moment. That's another rider we haven't even thrown into contention. Is Morne Gildenays. He really is a Red Star track specialist. But look at that. It's Yamaha, Darren Upton on the Kawasaki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and Yamaha. So that little front end just starting to pull away now from who's that? It looks like Lance Isaacs on the BMW just behind. No, it's Brandon Good on another Yamaha. Then it's Lance Isaacs. So Clint Sella, I wonder what happened. He obviously just balked on the line, but he's got a lot of work to do now because he's got some very fast riders, including Morne Caldenace and Greg. The 2 Caldenaces on track. Justin Gillison, unfortunately crashing out, but Greg Caldenace coming up that main straight there had a big moment.
Gillison on the sideline, so cold tires catching him out there as they head up to the top of the hill for the very first time. It's a big right-hander that comes through for turn 9 and 10. Heading towards turn 11 now. It's Alan John Fenter ahead of Garrick Flock, and Upton is looking to pounce. Have a look at Morne Gildenays, applying pressure onto Double G. Greg Gildenays, if you look in his rearview mirror.
Garrick Flock.
Flock sideways and gets up the inside of AJ. Alan John Fenter's not going to fight it out there. Remember, those two ended up on the sideline. In fact, the first 3 riders were probably some of the biggest crashes we had at Swartkops at the previous round.
Yep.
All of them eventually ending up on the sidelines. Alan John Fenter, unfortunately, taken out unceremoniously by Gareth Laverick, who I know is on a big return very near and very soon after that massive crash that he had at Swartkops in the water and oil from the rain.
What is up with Clint Sella? We haven't seen this in a long time. He normally gets out front. Spoke to him on the grid and he said, Rob, you know how I ride. Get out front and go. Not the start he would have wanted, and he's not making any impression. By now, a Clint Sella would have put 3 or 4 moves on if he had to, still behind Morne Caldenace and Greg Caldenace, and losing time on Carrick Flock out front. Here comes Michael White on the inside of Darren Upton, not able to make it stick there. Where the Yamahas have the massive advantage at Red Star is how well they maintain the tires over the other 4-cylinder bikes, the likes of the Kawasaki and the BMW. So Darren Upton and Greg Caldenace have got a hell of a job to do to stay ahead of those ones. Left a little bit of room there, and Michael White not able to stick it on the inside.
Well, just take Garrick Flock out of the equation and have a look at the next 3 riders. All of them very much Red Star specialists. Alan John Fenter does all of his race training here. Darren Upton, a multiple champion when it comes to endurance racing here as well in various teams that he's fought out for in the past. I know I've had a couple of comings together with himself and myself in those endurance races as well. Michael White, very good here at Red Star Raceway. On a couple of occasions, you've seen some great rock star shots of him going through with one arm off the motorcycle, holding a can as he goes into these turns. Greg Gildenays getting to grips with Red Star Raceway, getting better at Red Star Raceway every time he goes at it. But
Oh, big
Normally,
moment.
when you see the front end of a field here at Red Star Raceway, Upton will be there, Alan John will be there, but yes, the most notable missing person right now is Sella. And we know that Sella can do 51 ones around this track.
Yeah, and he's not making it, still sitting behind Morne Gelderhuis. I don't know if this is strategy or if he's got some kind of problems. We saw Hayden Jonas with problems in the 600s on the My Way bike. So Clint Sella either biding his time, trying to get some heat into those tires before he attacks, and maybe just worried a little bit about cold tear, which is a distinct possibility here with the weather conditions. But Carrick Flock out front, across the line now. First lap in anger, a 51.8 from Carrick Flock. 52.3, 52.3. Sella
through
on the inside there of Morne Gelderhuis. So that's one position. Up ahead of him now, he has got Greg Gelderhuis. So the two Gelderhuises are now sandwiched, is Clint Sella between those two riders there. And ahead of them is Michael White. But Carrick Flock, a 51.8, first time. The only rider in the 51s. AJ Fenton, Michael White, Darren Upton, an incredible job there as well. But the two experienced riders here, the most experienced, are Greg Gelderhuis and Clint Sella. And it looks like they're just biding their time with these weather conditions.
Waiting for the heat up. And speaking of heat up, it's just gone up to about 12 degrees Celsius. So about 3 degrees higher in terms of ambient temperature. Will probably take the track temperature up about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So hopefully tire pressures are right and they've got the right tires on there. They can only have Pirelli rubber, so they've got to play around with whatever rubber they've got available.
Front, it's SE1 rear.
Correct. And those front ends are going to be pushed hard here by these riders. There's no doubt about it. Alan John Fenter hanging on for second place right now. He would love to take a home track victory or possibly podium here for that Hygienica Racing and Lacquer Racing Yamaha team.
Big long look behind was from Carrick Flock there out front. He sees the train of riders that are still behind him. He's got about a 3 or 4 bike length lead at the moment over AJ Fenter, who's got Darren Upton breathing all over him. Great to see Darren Upton at the front end of the field where he belongs. But one rider that I'm just baffled with the season so far, Greg, is Dave McFadden, down in 13th place, just not getting to terms with that BMW run anywhere out of Cape Town. Remember, Cape Town picked up 2 second-place finishes. Since then, hasn't been anywhere near the podium, so a lot of work to do there for McFadden. But talking about the BMWs, Lance Isaacs down in 9th place. Just shows you how those bikes battle here at Red Star Raceway. As we're going to come now to complete lap 2, it is still Carrick Flock out front. AJ Fenter, Darren Upton as close as that. Let's see the fastest rider that time, a 52.6 out from Carrick Flock. AJ Fenter, 52.3. Fastest rider on track last time was Michael White, a 52. No, Clint Sella, 51.8. So Sella is now starting to get comfortable with the conditions, and he's coming on the My Way Yamaha.
You know, maybe it was a bit of a strategy that they looked at, try and get as much heat into the rubber as possible before they start attacking, if the start doesn't go according to plan.
Michael White
on the inside goes through on Upton. Upton down 1. So White up into 3rd place and Upton down to 4. 5th place on their tail, Double G, Greg Gelderhuis. He has got his arch rival on his tailpiece as well. That is Clint Sella. Sella, as you mentioned, 51.8 on the last pass, fastest man on track. One of the fastest laps we've seen. It was a 51.8 out of Carrick Flock on the second lap.
Yep.
So,
but they've closed him in now. You can see now. Carrick Flock able to put that pressure down in the opening couple of laps. But the experience of AJ Fenter and the riders behind him just getting themselves used to the condition. Here comes Clint Sella on the inside of Greg Gelderhuis. Yep, he makes it stick there. One of the favorite overtaking places for Clint Sella because he's able to do it at the last minute. He literally lets go of those brakes, sees a gap, and just shoves it on the inside. You know all about that.
I know exactly how that feels. Had my 750's nose nearly taken off there in the 24-hour race. But Sella knows exactly what he's doing. He would have timed that to perfection. Greg Gelderhuis giving him a little bit of room. Gelderhuis will maybe just stay with him and try and run with that motorcycle, but he's already lost a couple of inches of ground there, which is not ideal. At the moment, it's Flock goes down on his own. I was about to say Garrick Flock leading, and he just chucks it down the road, losing the front end, and the wild child has crashed out again. What a pity there. Furcore Construction, Shop 74, Diamond Core Drilling Yamaha, and it's on the sideline. He's got it going again, but he has got a huge mountain to climb now. That is not going to be what he wanted. After such a phenomenal start, it's now a battle for the front between AJ Fenter, Michael White, Upton, and Sella. Sella can see. Oh, he knows.
Yeah.
He knew this was going to happen. The battle at the front was going to be good, and it was. And unfortunately, our leader was caught out by a mistake, all on his own, Sim.
Yeah, such a pity, man. We just need to see Carrick Flock get that podium, get that confidence, because we know how fast he is. Just unfortunately, those little mistakes creep in every now and then. and crashing out of the lead, but I'm sure he'll be back for race number 2. Out of the podium contention, no doubt, for race number 1 here, as the 2 Yamaha riders, AJ Fentel and Michael White, are starting to stretch, but here comes Clint Seller on the inside. Whoa.
Jesse Bossoff line. The Jesse Bossoff
That
line.
was so close.
If you'd seen Jesse Bossoff earlier on, that's exactly where Bossoff went into the inside of another Kawasaki, and it was mounted by Malcolm Rudman. So Upton, very lucky to survive there. I think the My Way Yamaha rider also thinking himself, no, hang on a second. There's not
There we
enough
go,
space
the
there.
Seller line. Here we go, the Seller line.
Boom, chakalaka,
Right.
up the inside.
Another one ticked off, so now that's 3 Yamahas, 1, 2, and 3. It's AJ Fenter, Laka Hygienica Racing out front. Michael White, Consortium Shipping Yamaha number 2. Great start there for Michael White. Was a tough qualifying session for him. It was a tough Kyalami for him last time out as well, but back up where he belongs. Clint Seller, though, the My Way bike is up into 3rd place and starting to challenge now. Then it's Darren Upton on the Kawasaki ZX-10R, followed by Greg Caldenas on the Kawasaki ZX-10RR machine. So the battle of the Kawasaki's there, and further behind them, Morne Caldenas, Lance Isaacson, Brandon Good, just off this leading group in 6th, 7th, and 8th position.
Yeah, behind them in 9th, it's Kershaw. Then you got Barnard. McFadden has already got ahead into 12th place, and looks like Temba Kamalo fighting with McFadden there. Garrick Flock, even though he crashed out, still down in 13th place ahead of Bew Levy. And Bew at the moment is currently leading our Masters ahead of Johnny Cricker and Neil Maring. So that's the top 3 in the Masters as they stand. But at the front end, top 3 now starting to heat up. Have a look at the second battle. Lance Isaacs ahead of Morne Caldenas. And looks like Brandon Good trying to get through there as well. Just not able to make it stick.
Yeah, I can see already tyre wear coming into play here with the likes of Darren Upton. Morne Caldenas got a great start. Remember, just a couple of laps ago, he was ahead of Clint Seller. So tyre wear already starting to creep in for these guys in these conditions. Here comes Greg Caldenas on the inside of Darren Upton, yes, and you could see the 3 Yamahas out front. Look in a lap how much they've pulled out. The Yamahas, the way it delivers the power is just a lot easier on the tire here at Red Star Raceway. You are on the side of that tire for so long that the way that the R1 delivers the power, it just manages the tire a lot better than the big 4-cylinder bikes of the Kawasaki's and the BMWs. So these 3 guys out front, Greg Caldenas will do a great job if he can close in on them. But I think these 3 are pretty much going to be our 3 guys going for those podiums.
Now, there's 2 very hungry riders for a race win here. Probably the most hungry rider hangs on to the lead for now. Alan John Fenter hasn't taken an official victory yet this season.
Or a podium since Swartkoff's last year.
Exactly. It's been a long time since he's been on the podium. So Alan John, particularly at his home track here at Red Star Raceway, big supporters of him here in National Championship Racing, as well as in his Isle of Man attempts and victories that he's taken. So if you come here to Red Star Raceway, you'll see a big AJV Arrow helmet on the side of one of the big pit buildings there. And great to see the amount of support that comes out of Jacques van Wijngaard and the whole Red Star team, not only towards Super GP and what we put together as a race day here, but to National Championship and international riders worldwide.
Last lap out, it was AJ Fenter with the fastest lap of the race of 51.7. So let's see now this lap. I'm pretty sure that's going to go to Clint Seller now, because he has closed right in on the tail there of Michael White and AJ Fenter as they come across the line. That's 6 laps down of the 15. And let's have a look. It does look like it was Clint Seller. 51.6, fastest man on track and fastest lap of the race. So the My Way Yamaha man playing his race to perfection after a not so good start, uncharacteristic of Clint Seller, picked his way through and is now challenging for the win.
Magic Mike has a big look over his shoulder, looks straight into the shoey visor there, right on his tail of Clint Seller. White, I think, was having a look there because he realized that if Seller's there, he's got to go.
Oh, yes.
And this is not the way that Seller normally rides. Seller normally rides at the front and gets away.
Yep.
And it's taken him almost 7 laps to try and get to the front end. So it's not the way that he spoke about on the grid. You know me, I go like this. Didn't work out that way. But great recovery, and shows that he can do it from the back if necessary.
Just looking at Greg Caldenas behind him, 52.2. So he was faster than AJ Fenter and Michael White. Or not, yeah, he was faster than the 2 guys out front. So Greg Caldenas just a 10th or 2 coming in, but I don't know if that Kawasaki's got the longevity here of the 15 laps to maintain on that Pirelli rear tire, especially here over the Yamahas. Clint Seller now in the slipstream of Michael White. Is he going to pull out? No, he's going to hang tight there for now. I'm pretty surprised he didn't make the move in the customary place that we've seen him do his moves so far in this race. But just sitting there now, looking pretty happy. I think AJ sending a good pace out front. I think Seller's quite happy with that. As soon as that pace starts dropping to where Seller's not happy or comfortable or sees his pit board that Greg Caldenas is coming, Seller will make his move and he'll put in the fast laps.
Greg will probably be able to be heard by Seller right now. That RR, it's got a distinctive sound. And the way that they've tuned the Yamaha, if you are sitting on the pit wall or if you're here at the circuit, you'll definitely hear that there's a bit of a silent assassin in that My Way Yamaha. It's not as loud at any of the other motorcycles that are out there, but it certainly has got what it takes to get to the front end. As they come across the line and complete lap number 7, we've got 8 to go here and nothing in it between 3 Yamahas. And all of a sudden, Greg Kildenace 52.3, 52, 53s and 52s. Kildenace is closing.
Yes, Kildenace was almost 0.7 faster than Sella last time out. So Sella, I don't think he's going to be happy with this pace that the two out front are setting, and I think he's going to make a move any second. He's not going to do. Michael White on the inside of AJ Fenter. So Michael White on the consortium shipping Yamaha is now out front. Sella tries to make a move on the inside, not able to make it stick. So obviously Michael White not happy with the pace. I don't think Sella will be as well. They know that Kawasaki rider just behind them is starting to close in, so it's time to put the hammer down and get those fast laps in. Otherwise they could have a big green machine, and yeah, Kildenace is coming fast.
Yeah, on the last pass it was about 2.1 seconds. It's now down to 1.4.
Oh, it's visible.
And now it's probably down to about a second between 3 and 4 as they come through into this exit of the dog bone and into Clint Sella's corner. Sella on the inside. Every single time he makes it stick. No problem whatsoever.
But
Alan
it's so
John Fenter
tight.
cannot answer that one at all, but unfortunately it has cost him time. AJ looks straight back into that arrow visor, and Greg Kildenace overtakes him on the straight.
Yeah, it's not a good lap for the 3 out front, because literally Greg Kildenace has come from almost 2 seconds back, and he's now right back in the mix. So a couple of laps ago, we thought that Kildenace was out of this, but he's just thrown his name straight back into the mix. So Noddy and the team have done a great job to give Greg a setup on that bike that'll last 15 laps, able to do consistent low 52s on that Kawasaki machine. Michael White's got out front. Going to be interesting to see what the lap time now from Michael White since he's hit the front. I think AJ Fenter is starting to struggle with a little bit of tire wear now. He's setting very fast laps at the front of this race in the early part of the race, but through halfway now is when we expected those tires to start to come into play, and that's exactly what's happening now.
8 down and 7 to go as they cross the line this time. And it's AJ Fenter who was in the lead, who's now dropped to 4th place as they cross the line. So a bit of a rearrangement of the front 3. As you can see, 52s, 53s, and 54s out of the top 4. Alan John Fenter in the 54, slowest rider of those top 4. So yes, definitely tire wear becoming a big factor here. Who has looked after their tires the best? Who's going to have enough Pirelli rubber left to get them to the checkered flag and onto the top step of the podium?
Steve Cannon also doing a great job with that consortium shipping bike of Michael White out front. And of course, we know Alfie always does a tremendous job on Clint Sella's bike. You can see now coming through this section where they're on the side of the tire for so long. This is where the Yamaha R1 is so good compared to the other bikes. Although Greg Kildenace is looking so good on that Kawasaki. Since he picked up that win at East London,
Confidence.
he's looking so good on that Kawasaki. Really gelling with that machine now. And he's really starting to challenge her. Here we go. Sella is lining up a move at his favorite place. Will he go on the inside now of Michael White? Looks like he's lining it up. Here we go. Bike number 3, My Way Yamaha, hits the front. We knew it was coming. So here we go. Greg Kildenace, he's going to now make a move on Michael White as soon as possible, because he knows that if you give Clint Sella any kind of a gap, he will just extend that lead. Michael White tries to fight back, not able to make it stick there.
Just have a look at that, guys, if you get a chance and you're watching this later on tonight. Go and have a watch of turn number 8 and Clint Sella. This way around, Sella is untouchable, and he's made every single one of his passes at that corner. So it literally could be named Sella turn, because he's got everything dialed in there and no one's got an answer. They all seem to worry about having to take that wide line to get the drive out of the turn, but it opens up the door. Sella just bombs up the inside.
Sella just sticks that My Way bike on the inside, and it's pretty much a block pass, because there's nothing you can do. That turn is so tight. If there's a bike on the inside, there's nothing you can do. You cannot fight back. You hampers your drive if he stops that bike, which he does. So Sella using all his experience and just shoving it on the inside. Yeah, Michael White now second. AJ Fenter, unfortunately, now falling off the back of this top 3. And great to see Greg Kildenace, because last year, Greg on the Kawasaki was nowhere near the Yamaha bikes here at Red Star Raceway. Now he's a lot closer than he's ever been, so this is a much better performance. Look at this though, it's a drag race down the back straight. Here comes Michael White out of the slipstream. Will he go on the inside? He can't make the move stick there. But Greg Kildenace loses a little bit of pace down that straight, so the Yamaha's got to turn a horsepower down that straight for sure. But Kildenace looking very good and very committed, and he wants to try and stick to the rear end of these Yamahas for as long as possible, and maybe going into the last couple of laps, just shove it on the inside and potentially disrupt the race of the R1s ahead of him and pick up that win, his second win of the year for that Kawasaki. Remember, he's got to do something, because at the moment, Clint Seller is running away with the championship.
Yeah, he's hanging on for a very comfortable win here, as well as he pulls 3 or 4 bike links into his favorite turn. We'll pull probably another 2 or 3 bike links with his ability through this corner. Michael White, having to go defensive, is slowing himself down ever so slightly, and Greg Kildenace realizes that, and he needs to capitalize and get through as quickly as he can. Tries to get the squirt on, doesn't quite get the drive out of that last turn. Now coming up into 9 and 10. Big double right-hander. In fact, it's a triple right-hander as they come through there. And hanging on for now, Michael White on the consortium shipping, and Manacol Ridgeway Race Bar Yamaha. Behind him, it's Transport.co.za and Murdoch's Auto Body Kawasaki. And speaking of Kawasaki, and looking at where we see our friend David McFadden sitting in 9th place. When I was at KMSA this week, Chris Spate was saying to me, David McFadden was offered a Kawasaki, and he went with the PM option. I bet he's ruining the day now. He could potentially be in this fight at the front end if he'd gone with a green machine. So hopefully that's going to be a little bit of a turnaround in this latter part of the season, but McFadden definitely battling here, but both of those BMWs are.
They are, and just behind this leading group, AJ Fenter looks in a comfortable 4th position, and Darren Upton, after that great start at the beginning of the race, he is now fallen into the clutches of Brandon Good, Lance Isaacs, and Morné Caldenes, and Dave McFadden. This is a good battle on track. That's Nick Kershaw and Temba Kumalo. They are battling for 11th and 12th position, and they're a little bit behind Dylan Barnard and McFadden, who we've spoken about there. So that's another R1 battle going on track there. A good result for Temba Kumalo on his return to National and Super GP racing, if he can pick up a top 11 position. Just behind him, Bo Levy ahead of Heinrich Rieder. So that's a turn up for the Masters category there.
Yeah, Bo Levy hanging on for now, and Heinrich Rieder in 2nd place in the Masters, Johnny Cricker in 3rd. Another consistent ride coming out of Johnny Cricker, 2nd of those Lacquer Racing Hygienic Yamahas. As they come into Seller's turn, Michael White trying to find a way to get in closer. He's got to be a lot closer than this to Clint Seller if he wants to try and potentially win this race. And remember, we're only getting into the closing stages now. We're about to complete lap number 11. There'll be 4 to go for these guys. So it's 16 kilometers of racing to go here at Red Star Raceway for our top 3. Speaking of Temba Kumalo, also going back to him, remember he made a welcome return at the SA Bike Festival for the MTech Racing team. And he's fighting out there with Nicholas Kershaw. We saw that just in the background. AJ Fenter still hanging on for 4th. And wait for the 5th place battle. Here it comes. Nice 5th place battle here. Upton, Brandon Good, and Lance Isaacs.
Isaacs has just got to get ahead of them. He needs as many points as he can. Coming into the weekend, he knew that his Superbets BMW really does battle for the pace here. But if he can get ahead of Darren Upton and Brandon Good and pick up that 5th position, it'll be a good weekend for Lance Isaacs, knowing going into Desi, a track where the BMW works a little bit better, but still not as good as the Yamahas. And last year, Greg Caldenes had a real turn of pace at Desi. So remember, Desi up next. Get yourself down to the South Coast. A beautiful event down there. Awesome track to watch at. Awesome track for these guys to race at. So that's where we head next. But right now, we are at Red Star Raceway, and that is a really good battle there on for 5th place. And that's going to go down to the wire. Darren Upton not going to let that 5th position up so easily. He really needs a good couple of points. He had a terrible start to the season, has Darren Upton, but if he can pick up that 5th place, that'll be a good way on to kickstarting his championship. But this battle, Michael White doing a great job at staying with Clint Seller, and Greg Caldenes not too far behind. I really did think once Seller hit the front that he'd be able to just churn out those fast lap times and pull out a lead, but 53.4, 53.3 and 53.6 from our leading 3 riders. So it just shows you the pace. They're about 2 seconds off their qualifying pace. So definitely the weather and the tire issues playing out on track.
And very evenly matched.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the 53s from the top 3 riders, shows the consistency of these 3 riders and their ability to remain in those 53s for the last couple of laps. Yes, they can do 51s, but right now, I think tire wear is going to be a big factor. Further back, Brandon Good still looking for a way through on Upton, and Lance Isaacs needs to get through on both of them. A top 5 for Lance Isaacs would be fantastic consolidation of some points here. Remember, he's not fighting for the Masters anymore. He's in the Super GP Champion Trophy full on and looking to give BMW a good finish overall in this championship. He was relatively close to Clint Seller, but now down in 6th place. It's not where he needs to be finishing to secure championship points.
And in the Masters, Heinrich Rieder has now got to the front of that. Johnny Cricker and ahead of Bo Levy, Neil van Lockenberg, Ferdinand Fredericks further down there as well. Rider that we are missing in the Super Masters is our championship leader.
Yes, Hendrik de Bruin.
Hendrik de Bruin.
Hendrik de Bruin with some financial issues. He's here helping on the weekend. Unfortunately, couldn't get enough budget together to go racing on his machine. But I know that they're going to be working hard to get him down to Desi's Raceway. So if anybody has got any bit of extra ammunition that they're prepared to throw at a motorcycle. That's not a bad man to throw it at. Hendrik de Bruin, the Net CB man on his Yamaha. He used to be on a Honda, but now on a Yamaha. And he is our championship leader in the Masters category. So he'll lose a potential 50 points here this weekend, but still in with a hunt if you can get him there to Desi's Raceway and to the final couple of rounds of the SuperGP Champions Trophy. So yeah, get hold of him. He's on Facebook, and let's see if we can get that man down to Desi's Raceway and back into the championship for the last couple of rounds.
Greg Caldenet is so consistent. His lap times are always a couple of tenths quicker than Michael White ahead. It just seems, again, that cat and mouse game. At the beginning end of the circuit here, Greg Caldenet seems to just close up on the two Yamaha riders in front of him. Second part of the circuit is where the Kawasaki does seem to battle a bit, and the Yamahas really do extend that lead. You can see Clint Seller now just eking out a couple of bike lengths over Michael White. So I think he's maybe just broken that hold that Michael White had. So the battle for second and third is pretty much where it is at the moment, if Clint Seller doesn't have any problems. We've seen Clint Seller throw it in the wilderness on a couple of occasions here at Red Star Raceway. So let's hope that he doesn't do that, and he'll be on for another 25 points. But this battle for second place, I just don't know where Greg Caldenet will make that move, because he's been able to stick there, but he hasn't been able to get close enough to make a move yet.
Loving the fact that we had all three riders almost line astern through the dog bone section. You can see the handling abilities of those bikes. Seller's bike seems like it's on rails, even though the tires are probably crying out. Michael White is certainly fighting a lot more of a sort of worse handling motorcycle, I'd have to put it that way, if I can say that. And then behind him, it's Gildenace, and Gildenace's Kawasaki also has a few twitches here and there. It's not quite on the same kind of railroad track that we're seeing out of the Marway Yamaha in front.
Yeah, Greg, what you must do is the podium. When you go down to do the podium ceremony, take a look at those rear tires. Get the cameraman to have a look at the rear tire and just see what these guys are dealing with out there. You'll see the Pirellis do tear up here because they're on the side wall of the tire for so long. It's not that the Pirelli tire is bad. The guys have to run the SC1 rear tire because that is the best tire for lap times to get out of here at the Red Star racetrack. The only problem with that soft tire at a 15-lap race around Red Star, because it's on the sidewall for so long, and the abuse that it has to take from these riders doing the lap times they do, they really get chewed up. So that'll be a good shot to see there of the tires at the end of the race. Brandon Good trying to make the move on the inside there of Darren Upton going into turn one, not able to make it stick. And while he's trying to attack Darren Upton, he's got Lance Isaacs on the Superbets BMW breathing down his neck.
And Lance Isaacs on that last pass has gone into a 56.5, 56.6s out of the two riders in front of him. So he's about a tenth up on the two riders. So Lance Isaacs might be timing this to perfection, looking for that top five with about 2 to go. So 2 laps to go here on our lap monitor, but the graphic there, unfortunately, not 100%. We'll have to get that changed quickly. But with 2 laps to go, Seller leads things out. Brandon Good has a big look into Jesse Boshoff turn.
The newly labeled
It's going to stay like that forever and ever, bud.
Oh, Brandon Good, you're getting, he definitely tried to line up something there. I think he's definitely got more pace than Darren Upton, but Upton doing a great job at defending and still able to keep the 2 riders behind him. And that is the battle, of course, for 5th, 6th, and 7th place. Morné Geldenace just behind them. McFadden up into the top 10 in 9th. Dylan Barnard, another good ride from Dylan Barnard if he can pick up another top 10. It's been a great move for Dylan Barnard to climb onto that consortium shipping Yamaha R1 machine, because he's certainly now, week in, week out, putting his name in the top of that top 10 in the Super GP category.
Yeah, and remember, we've had 2 weeks in a row for the last three sessions. So over the last 10 weeks of action, it's been 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks for Super GP. A little bit of a break in proceedings before we head down to Desi's Raceway in the middle of July. And remember, there's 2 events at Desi's Raceway. The first weekend in July is the Desi's Time Attack event, and then straight after that, back-to-back, we head down to Desi's Raceway again for the Desi's Raceway Round 5 of the Diode Super GP Champions Trophy, and looking forward to the action down on the south coast of Natal. So, with a lap and a half to go, in fact, on the last lap now, last lap, Seller, can Michael White do anything? He's going to have to be exceptionally close. He's very close, but not close enough to make any inroads onto that Marway Yamaha in front of him.
Look at the different riding styles. Seller, very much old school, upright, doesn't hang off the bike as much. Michael White, new school. Elbow on the deck, knee on the deck, head just about on the deck, and then Caldenet is the same as Caldenet, that old school upright. Here comes Michael White. Look at this. He's timed this almost to perfection. Maybe just conserved some time because he's putting on a huge charge.
Yeah, he's putting on a big charge. Yeah, he wants by. He wants the win. It's only 0.3 of a second between the two of them as they cross the line, and it's probably less than that right now as they head into Seller's favorite turn. He won't get him here. Oh, no. White ran wide. That's it. That's enough. Seller will have it, and Gildenace will smell blood in the water. Consortium Shipping Yamaha is under attack now from the Transport Totsuya today and Murdoch's Kawasaki as it heads down into turn 9 and 10. Hard braking, and now flick it over onto the right-hand side. Well, Seller's rolled off ever so slightly.
Seller's got problems.
Seller is hanging in here and only going to win by the skin of his teeth. Michael White is all over the back of Clint Seller.
No, Seller's got no grip. Seller has got no, he cannot even turn that My Way Yamaha anymore. Michael White, oh, can he get close enough? He does have a look there. Maybe going into the final turn, if he can get the drive out here, not able to do it there, but Seller certainly battling now. I don't think he's close enough.
Michael White, if he was a little bit closer and maybe got out of the turn a little bit quicker, he's going to be able to hang on. Seller, is he going to be able to hang on for this final turn? He runs wide.
Oh, no lean angle.
Seller, absolutely no lean angle, as you heard from Rob. Now they're coming to the line. Drag race. It's Seller just beating out Michael White. Incredible. Look straight back. 0.3.
He knew.
And 0.3 again to Gildenace. 0.6 of a second between our top three there for Super GP Champions Trophy. Seller, well, he gives away to the crowd, but he knows he was battling there. Here's the battle for fifth.
Darren Upton still in fifth. Brandon Good, he's trying to go for it, not able to make it stick. Lance Isaacs right on the tailpipe, but it looks like Darren Upton, an incredible job there to defend that fifth position. Coming to the line, or has he? Brandon Good almost side by side with the Kawasaki rider. Just gets it. Fifth is Darren Upton. Sixth is Brandon Good. Seventh is Lance Isaacs. Morne Caldenath in eighth. Darren Upton in ninth. No, sorry, Dave McFadden in ninth. Dylan Barnett, another great top 10. But Clint Seller, that's 3 in a row for the My Way Yamaha man after he did the double last time out at Kailami. And yep, that's 25 more points. Greg Maloney will be heading down to the podium ceremony. Have a look at those rear tires and just see the kind of abuse that they've just had to have from these riders. But it'll be great there. Get down to the podium ceremony. Catch up with our top 3 riders. What an incredible Super GP race number 1 we've had here today so far. But it is Clint Seller, our championship leader, who once again stamps his authority here at Red Star Raceway, just ahead of Michael White. A great ride from the Consortium Shipping Yamaha man, who put his Yamaha R1 in second place there and literally stuck it to Clint Seller the entire race. Greg Caldenace, another great podium finish there for the Kawasaki rider. We're going to have a look at highlights of race number 1 here at any second now. Here we go. At the start, Clint Seller got a terrible start. It was all about Hygienica Yamaha lacquer racing machine of AJ Fenter, who got his bike out front. But Carrick Flock, the pole position man, was right on his tail. Darren Upton in third, Michael White fourth, Caldenace, and look at Clint Seller down in 7th position. Early fall there for Justin Gillison on the second of the Superbets BMW machine, but all was okay with him. And out front, here we go. Carrick Flock made the move going into the right-hander on the inside of AJ Fenter, and up to the lead he went. And he would be the first rider to dip into the 51s and pull out his lead. Coming into the right-hander, this is where it all went wrong. Getting it sideways and tucking the front end of his Shop 74 Furcore and Diamond Drilling Yamaha R1 machine there. And out of the race there for our pole position man. Unfortunately, out of the podium positions. That promoted Michael White, AJ Fenter, Clint Seller, and Greg Caldenace up into your top 4. AJ Fenter, while he set a good early pace, unfortunately ran out of a bit of tire. And Michael White on the inside down the back straight, and he got to the front end of the field. Greg Caldenace, the Kawasaki man, was coming. He would soon close in on the 3 Yamahas out front, and there's the move from Michael White. Beautiful move on the inside, on the brakes. Clint Seller trying to also follow through, but there was no gap. AJ Fenter, unfortunately, a sitting duck at this stage. And Clint Seller, he would be the next man past the lacquer racing machine on the inside and up into 2nd position. Greg Caldenace on the Kawasaki in 4th place was just biding his time, but he was coming. But Seller Corner, as it is now named, as he put the move on the inside of Michael White and up into 1st place. Michael White did a great job at sticking with Clint Seller, as did Greg Caldenace. This was a battle for 5th place though. Darren Upton, after a great early pace, dropped into the clutches of Brandon Good and BMW Superbets rider Lance Isaacs. But they had no answer. It was Clint Seller at the front end of the field, just ahead of Michael White and Greg Caldenace. And that'll be your podium. And there's Greg Maloney down with our top 3 finishers.
Top 3 here for the podium for Super GP Champions Trophy, ladies and gents. Let's welcome in the top 2 contenders that have been fighting hard out there, and they really put on a great show. And a couple other riders that were involved at the front end, namely Garrick Flock, unfortunately crashing out there all on his own, some having to get back up on the bike and fight from the back end of the field. Very similar to what we saw from Byron Bester on the High-Tech Elements Kawasaki in the Super 600 class. And then, of course, also Alan John Fenter, our whole shot man, led for almost 3/4 of the race. And then just, I think, having a look at the way these bikes are, and I had to check for Rob, You were spot on, Rob, in terms of the tyre wear. These Pirellis are crying out big time here. Great rubber, but with the track conditions we got, the cool conditions we got here, they really are battling to give these riders the grip that they need by the end of 15 laps of racing. So it's certainly a tyre issue that they're going to have to try and make a plan with for race number 2. But needless to say, we've seen some great action again here at the Red Star Raceway, the home of motorcycling, and looking forward to seeing if they can do some more here a bit later on. Let's get them up on the podium, though. In third place, phenomenal effort. He pushed hard to get to the front end, and eventually was right at the front end battle, but just missed out in terms of 1 and 2 on the podium. Third spot today for transport.co.za on the Murdoch's Auto Body Kawasaki RR. Let's hear it for Double G, Greg Kildenase. In second place and closing on the final couple of corners there. I think if he'd been a little bit closer, he might have had a go at the Marway Yamaha, but he's on Consortium Shipping, Manacol, and the Ridgeway Race Bar Yamaha. Let's hear it for Magic Michael White. And keeping the fire at the top in terms of firing it up for the Marway and Assus Racing and Near Life Yamaha team. It's Evil Knievel who takes another win. That's 3 in a row now for Clinsella. Mr. Wayne Riddell from Motorsport South Africa is going. Oh no, Tim Cook first. He had them in order there. That's why I was just checking the other way around. Sorry. Tim Cook from Gas Sports will be handing out third place trophy to Greg Kildenase and high fives to the other 2 riders. Wayne Riddell will hand out second place to Magic Mark. And the big boss man of Motorsport South Africa, Adrian Scholz, will hand out the first place trophy there to Clinsella. Let's make some noise for our podium, folks. They put on a fantastic show as always. Brilliant stuff, and let's just bring them out here into the sun. Greg Kildenase, come join me here, buddy. We want to just try and keep the sunny conditions here for you because it's a bit shady in there. So just stand that side for me. Greg, a little bit of a good start for you, but then the Yamahas just kept coming, and Rob was saying how well they were able to maintain the tyres out there, but having a look at the way the tyres are, yours looked like the best of the 3 up here.
Yeah, you know, we started the race off, got a little bit of bad start, and yeah, we chipped away at it, and yeah, when I got to the closing stages of the race, I thought, yeah, we can have a bit of a go. And yeah, my bike just kept not going into 4th to 5th. And yeah, it just keep getting a little gap on me. And yeah, hopefully we can get it sorted out and be back for race 2.
I think there's no doubt about that one. Good luck for race 2, and we hope to see you back on the podium. Moving across to second place here, Magic Mike. Dude, if you'd been a bit closer on that last lap, it looked like Clint was battling a little bit there. I'm going to have a chat to him about that now, but probably about half a bike length he could have had a go.
Yeah, you know, in practice we didn't really have the pace. We were there, but we weren't. And in the race we felt confident because I've always been good with like maintaining a tire, and that was mental, to be honest with you. By lap 13, 14, I thought we were ice skating, never mind riding motorbikes. So yeah, I started getting closer. I knew I had a little bit more pace than Sella, but I just couldn't get it close enough to put up the inside. Also, if I did, I think we would have both gone down. So I'm happy with second. We got some points and trying to make our way back up in the championship. Let's see for the second race.
Awesome stuff. Good job and good luck with the second one. Clint, come on in here, buddy. I'm going to just move on to that side so you got a bit of space, and I'll give you some room there. Dude, it wasn't your customary start and the customary race that you like to have according to what you spoke to Rob about on the grid.
Yeah, I think I jinxed it there. Eh? But yeah, I pulled away like it was my first ever race. But yeah, I pulled away, and it's not so easy to pass at this place. It's definitely a technical track, and you know all the guys are quick. So it wasn't easy to get past the field. You know, the guys are all working really hard. So I just did one at a time and just ticked it over slowly but surely. And then towards the end, it felt like I was riding in the wet. The left-hand side of the tire was absolutely destroyed from entrance to exit. It was never at one point in line with the front wheel. So it was just one of those things. Maintain brake as late as you can, and hold. I think my team showed me 1 lap to go when it was 2 laps to go, because I came, I thought, oh sweet, nice, won it. And I was like, oh no, that's the last lap. So anyway, whatever. We had some fun. I think we worked through the pack, which made the race quite exciting.
The nice thing is, if you look at turn 8, particularly down there, that little hairpin onto the short straight, it kind of can be called seller turn, because every maneuver you pulled, and I don't want to give away your secrets, but I think they're going to look at that on the live streaming and go, hang on a second, we've got to shut the door there on you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only place to pass that I could get past the guys. So I just, every lap I lined it up from the last turn, and I knew, okay, through center corner, I managed to get up the run there, yeah.
I've experienced that personally when you've come off the inside of me on the 24 hours. I know exactly how they feel. But I do know there are other places that you can pass. So needless to say, if I've given away that secret, there's another one that they don't know about yet, hey?
Hopefully we won't have to use too many in the next race. But yeah, let's go and see what new tire can do for us all.
Brilliant stuff. Well done. Congratulations once again. Going to go straight into our Masters podium now as well. I'm just trying to spot Tim Cook because I don't know the final results on the Masters. I didn't get them. Third place was Johnny Cricker. Oh, first place was Johnny Cricker. So we'll get him up on the podium first. So, Johnny, you're going to get up there? Can you believe it? Hygienica Racing Lacquer Racing Yamaha man is on top step of the podium today. Second place is Bu Levy, also on a Yamaha. A great effort there from him. And third place, Neil van Lockenberg. Sorry, I didn't get the final results as I had to jump at you, so well done, Neil. Good job, buddy. Get on up there. Enjoy the spoils of the hard race that you guys have put together. Let's make some noise for our Masters, first of all, there, ladies and gents. Tim Cook will hand out third place to Neil. Looks like our Bridgewater Logistics boys are in the house again. Are you going to do some podiums for us? That'll be real nice, eh? Quibus, you handing out second place for us, big guy? There you go. And Quinton, our big boss man from the Bridgewater team. Great to have him here again. And handing out first place there to a very well-deserved Johnny Cricker. Come on out, you guys, quickly just into the sun so we can get you in there. Sorry, Neil, you'll be first, buddy. Come on in here. It's not easy out there with a big field of riders, and particularly here at the circuit, not easy to pass, but to get onto the podium is a good effort.
Yeah, I'm very proud. Glad we got on. But it was tough. 15 laps are quite too much for us, but no, it was fun. Just want to say thank you to Motos, to Devil Winterbach for their help, and Omega Capital, one of my sponsors.
Fantastic. We'd love to see you in the next one, buddy, and a little bit higher up. Let's move across to Bu. Bu, come on in here, bud. Give you a chance to have a quick chat there. We've seen the change up from the allegiance with KTM to Yamaha. It's paying off and certainly becoming a more consistent rider on that bike. But you still got some work to do to fight out to get to the front again.
Yeah, the first couple of laps I can fight, but then I just destroy the tire, so I'd have to get work on the setup, but it's getting better every race, so it's a little bit more practice and we'll be there.
Phenomenal stuff. Looking forward to maybe going one step higher.
I'm going to try my best, save the tire a bit in the first laps and see if I can go out first next time.
Brilliant job. Well done. All right, it's a home track advantage here. And, well, we mentioned it at Kyalami that there was only one man who was getting on the podiums for your team. There was another one that got on at the previous round, but I think the boss man, or the team captain, I should say, is a bit concerned about now you getting a first place, Johnny.
Yeah, Greg, it's great. Augustine got on the box this morning. Unfortunately, I have for AJ fourth. But yeah, home track, so we had to do something here, Greg. It would be a bit embarrassing if we couldn't.
AJ, you're in the audience. Come on in here quickly, buddy. You think I wasn't going to get away with that? Just jump over the table there if you can, or just move the table to the left-hand side, because there's a big team effort that's been put in here by Alan John, and we've already seen a massive improvement in terms of his riding. But needless to say, a whole shot of note there, bud. But your man here is making you look for podiums a bit more, hey?
You know what, Greg? I'm the fastest in the team, and I've got no trophies. Everyone else has got more trophies than me.
Not an easy way to go home, but needless to say, it means that whatever work you're doing as part of the team captaincy and, of course, preparing the bikes, it's paying off.
Yeah, Greg, you know, it's nice to have a good outfit. We've got 5 bikes. It's about the Lacquer Racing brand. It's good to see guys doing well. Johnny, Augustine, Deegan, you know. I like to see everyone else, you know, win races in it. And that race was a good race. The track was, well, not slippery, but obviously it's cold. Well done to Clint, to Greg, to Mark. I mean, they conserved their tyres well. And, yeah, we'll see what happens in the next race.
I think you got something special, but I think more importantly is getting 2 wins for Johnny. How's that feel?
Yeah, Greg, felt good. Changed a couple of things. Thanks. AJ showed me a couple of things yesterday to change. Personal best in qualifying. So, yeah, it worked out lekker.
And there's a special man in the audience I saw that's helping you out as well, hey? He always brings luck, hey? It's always nice to have him here. I won't mention his name on TV, but he's definitely in the house, ladies and gents. Once again, that is our SuperGP Champions Trophy and the Masters Trophy done. We've got a small break in proceedings now. We'll be back real soon with the live streaming here at Red Star Raceway.
All this SuperGP action is proudly brought to you by Dio and our associate sponsors.